I'm clinical psychologist Dr. Ali Mattu, and today I'm going to review your favorite mental health memes. Therapist, have you been managing your symptoms? Me, clink clink. Not the best way to manage your symptoms, but a honest answer to the problem, since a lot of substance use in mental health can be a way of managing your symptoms. Help, help, I'm dissociating. What I like about this Family Guy meme is it is communicating something that we don't really talk about, which is disassociating and what it means. It's such an invisible thing, so this meme's kind of bringing that to light. I just exercised and I'm still depressed, so take that, scientists! That is something we talk about, how important physical activity is for alleviating things like depression. For a lot of people, it doesn't have to be anxiety, it's just about getting moving. So I like how this meme is sort of tackling that stereotype. Scooby-Doo and the mystery of your text. That would be a really bad episode of Scooby-Doo. This one's cool because what is so scary about those texts is you send something and you have no information back about how it's going, how the person received your response. There's a lot of uncertainty, and uncertainty is what drives anxiety. The worst is when you see the person is responding and then they don't respond, or you see a read receipt and then you don't get a response. So much uncertainty there. A lot of uncertainty, a lot of anxiety. When you cut them out of your life but you still watch their stories. Yes. So this is what makes it very hard to have changes in your friendships or relationships. There's still ways you can stay in touch with people, or at least keep up to date on their life through social media and the internet. We didn't really have this problem as much 15, 20 years ago. You cut someone out of your life for whatever reason and you wouldn't see them again. Maybe you'd run into them somewhere around town, but you wouldn't be able to easily follow them through your phone. So that's something I talk to a lot of my patients about, is if you're going to cut them out, mute them or block them. Let's help you to be able to fully disconnect with them. Self-soothing activities: lawfully good, neutral good, chaotic good, lawful neutral, law and order, SVU. I have a lot of patients who will watch a lot of Law and Order. True neutral, is that pot? I can't tell what that is. Chaotic neutral, okay, yeah, a lot of food. Lawful evil, ordering stuff on Amazon. Neutral evil, yeah. Chaotic evil. So, who unfollowed? Figuring out who unfollowed you on Instagram. Yeah. So, what's cool about this meme is it points to the diversity of ways in which you can manage your emotions. And some of those are going to be really helpful. Some of those have the potential to make your problem worse. So it's really important to know yourself and to know how you experience these things. For some of us, you might be able to just kind of scroll through BuzzFeed and it's going to help. For some of us, we might get stuck in that and have a hard time disconnecting, could make our problems worse. So important to know yourself. I don't need an alarm clock. I have my anxiety jolting me awake at 5 a.m. every morning like clockwork. It's like a screaming rooster that lives inside your brain. Worrying wakes me up. What's cool about this one is it points to how much anxiety can play a role in sleep. For some of us, we might have a hard time falling asleep because of our worries. For some of us, we might wake up early and then have a hard time going back to sleep. So this is cool because it brings to light how much sleep and anxiety can be tied together. Congratulations! Presented to the Queen of Mental Health for going 1 day without a panic attack. You did it. This is cool. It's really important to focus on those small day-to-day gains, because over time they build up and can lead to big changes. I like this one. 10 years ago. What is happening? Mental illness. Now. Hey. Oh, hey, buddy. What's up? I love this one, too. It speaks to something called acceptance. For a lot of people, when it comes to issues that aren't necessarily going away, I might work on acceptance-based skills. And acceptance isn't about saying it's okay that this thing is happening. It's more about letting go of that struggle, stopping the suffering you're experiencing, and coming to terms with what you can and what you can't change. So I really like this one. Something I talk about with a lot of my patients is it's not your fault you are experiencing this, and it's your responsibility. When you're chilling, but you remember that you have anxiety. Yeah, this one's cool because so much of anxiety can be invisible. You might be struggling and no one else around you might notice it, and just a random thought can bring about all those worries. Me. I've literally developed so many useful coping skills to deal with bad and uncomfortable feelings. Goddess of mental improvement. A bad feeling. Oh, hey, me. Yeah, so this one's cool too because learning how to cope is very different than practicing a coping skill in the moment. That's one of the reasons why I have a hard time working with my patients in session. They usually feel safer and more comfortable, but we might learn a skill there. Like we might learn deep breathing, for example, but that's very different than using deep breathing out there in the world when you're actually experiencing the tough emotion. So that means we have to practice over and over again and build up that skill so when the tough emotions come, you're ready for it. Guess who slept through 15 cycles of snooze this morning? This girl. I like it because I hate the snooze alarm. Don't ever use the snooze alarm. What you should do is set an alarm for pretty close to the latest time you need to get up, because if you keep hitting the snooze, you're not getting deep quality sleep. You're getting very surface level sleep that might actually make you feel more groggy in the morning. So maybe set a couple alarms if you want to back up, but don't use a snooze button. It's really, really bad. The next time someone tells you that mental illness is all in your head, tell them, well, duh, where else is it going to be? My kidneys? Yeah, so I mean, that is such a invalidating thing to say to someone, right? It's all in your head. Our experience of emotions is a complex soup of the stuff that is happening in our thoughts, but also the stuff that's happening in our bodies. I made a video about how to change your emotions that goes into a lot more detail about that, which you can check out. I'll put a card there or over here. I don't know. I always forget what side it goes on. When depression makes you tired, but anxiety keeps you up. So that gets to more anxiety and sleep stuff. That's cool. But it's also talking about how depression and anxiety can interact with each other, which they often do. When you're depressed and someone says, just don't think about it. Yeah, that is incredibly unhelpful to say to someone, is just don't think about it. If it was that simple, I wouldn't have a job and no one would be struggling with depression. Your feelings are real, but they're not reality. I would replace the but with and. This is hitting on something really deep, which is everyone's emotions are real, and at the same time, they might not, the thing you're reacting to itself might not actually be happening. So like getting back to that text example, you might be fearing the worst because you have no information, because there's all that uncertainty, but that might not actually be happening. The person that you sent a text to might not have responded because they're really busy, not because they hate you and think you're stupid. My depressed laughing at memes. Is this happiness? I really love this meme because every time I see it, I'm like, what is going on here? So this speaks to the whole idea that you're just getting stuck looking at memes and like, is that causing me more problems and stuff? So something a friend of mine, Zoe Cardona from the Geek Therapy Podcast Network, taught me is you want to use this stuff as a power-up in your life, not as a side quest that takes you away from the things you want to do. We want to use them to help us to validate our emotions, to be able to share tough emotions with other people, to start discussions about mental health and mental illness. We don't want to use them as something that is going to make our problems worse. And sometimes it's a fine line between those two things. When your life's a mess already filled with crippling anxiety and depression, yet you sprinkle some procrastination for decor. Oh man, this is so true. So this is something I've experienced a lot, is you're worried about something, you postpone acting on it, so you're procrastinating, and now the problem gets a lot worse. This speaks to how we have these urges with our emotions, and those urges might actually, acting on those emotions sometimes might actually make our problems worse. So we kind of have to know, when is it going to help us to act on our emotions, and when is it actually going to get in the way, and which of those two paths should I go down? I love the Kermit memes. That's the next one here. Me, I'm going through a lot. I should really talk to someone. Anxiety and depression. Isolate yourself from everybody and sleep instead. So sometimes sleeping it off can be good. Sometimes giving yourself a break is a really good thing. And at the same time, if it's happening a lot, it can cause problems. So it gets back to that whole idea of, is acting on this emotion going to help me? Does it fit the facts of the situation, or is it going to cause more problems? How's your day going so far? Me. Why all the hate on the yellow Starburst? I love the yellow Starburst. What is it? Lemon flavor? Why do people hate the lemon flavor Starburst so much? I'm doing okay. I'm fine. I'm just tired. Friends and family. Homer on the backside. Insomnia, suicidal fantasies, anxiety attacks, depression, existential dread, uncontrollable crying, nightly breakdowns. So yeah, we might try to hide the pain that's going on inside of us, even with our friends and family. And across so many studies over and over again, what we found is the most important thing that actually helps us is social support, is talking to other people about what's going on inside of us, and getting that help. One of the big things that can cause us problems is when we get stuck in our own thoughts, when we might ruminate, when we're thinking about why this has happened to me or what's wrong with me, when often talking to our friends, getting a little support can make all the difference. My anxieties have anxieties. This happens a lot with a lot of people I work with. So we worry, and then we worry about our worries. This is something we call metacognitions, but it's kind of like the beliefs you have about beliefs. So maybe you think it's bad to worry, and so you try to avoid worrying, or maybe you actually think it's good to worry, and then you worry about your worries. So this is totally a thing. It can totally happen. Me, I'm fine. My therapist. Yes, I have made this face probably many times. So the thing here is, early on in therapy, it's really important to develop that trust between you and your therapist, and it's something I work very hard to, is make sure I understand where the person's coming from, help them to be able to express the things that they need to share. But as time goes on, there will be times where I'll be much more authentic and honest about what I'm experiencing and how I might be reacting to what they're saying. That is actually, I think, one of the gifts of therapy, is you can talk about these things that you can't in other relationships. So sometimes making that face, and I might be like, "Are you fine?" can be super helpful. I am a man, woman, borderline, looking for men, women, reassurance that the people I love actually care about me and won't abandon me at any given moment. So this is a fear that can happen for a lot of people who might have borderline personality disorder. Borderline personality disorder has a few different problem areas. One is identity, who am I? Two is in handling tough emotions. Number 3 is being able to be in distressing situations. And number 4 is learning how to be able to interact with other people and develop relationships that are stable and long-lasting. A lot of people, when they're might experience a strong emotion, might kind of question who they are, and might act in an impulsive way in a relationship. and all that stuff can kind of mix together. When you're trying to love people, but you're also an introvert and have boundaries, oh, that animal is so cute. I think if you toss it a cute animal into a meme, it just makes it so much better. Here's the thing about introversion and extroversion. It's more about how large your battery is for certain types of situations, like large social situations. If someone is more on the introvert side of things, your battery might drain a little bit faster in those kind of overwhelming situations. Doesn't mean that you're not social, doesn't mean that you don't want relationships and friendships with other people. It just means that battery might get drained a little bit faster. If you're more extroverted, maybe your battery drains slower, or maybe you feel more invigorated by those situations. Me, I'm much more extroverted, and I'm in a job that requires a lot of interaction with other people, so by the time I come home, my battery is so drained. Even though I'm extroverted, I kind of just want to chill on my own. So, there's a lot of diversity here. Last one, because my daughter's asking for me. Sorry for needing constant reassurance that I am not as annoying as I think I am. I love that one because that's something a lot of my patients go through. They might say, I'm sorry, or is it okay I did this? Is it okay I did that? That's another symptom that can come out of worry and having a hard time dealing with uncertainty. So definitely catch yourself if you're doing that. These memes are awesome. I think, again, as I said before, they validate, they communicate, they generate discussion about mental health. It's also a part of the remixing culture that exists on the internet. Braincraft did a great video about this, so check that out for more. And I'm wondering, what are your favorite memes? What memes do you want me to review next? Let me know in the comments below. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to this channel for more mental health and psychology content. And if you want to help me make more videos, become a patron on Patreon and get some more behind the scenes stuff in return.